Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figured Out Productions. The following video is a video of some kind, and I hope you enjoy it.
Hey guys, it's Adam here, and check it out. We got a new Dreamcast game to talk about. Now, okay, it's not that new. This actually came out a little while ago, but this is the earliest I can get to it. Give me a break. Come on, there's been so much Dreamcast content. It's fucking awesome, but damn, like, all right, yeah, so if you're new to this, the Sega Dreamcast is my favorite game console of all time, and it still gets new games every once in a while, and a lot more as of late, to the point where, like, I'm obviously backlogged, and that's awesome. It's a good problem to have, but yeah, so a lot of the time, though, when a new game comes out, the driving force behind it is an independent developer decides, for whatever reason, they want to put the game onto the console. This game, as well as a few that I've done videos on recently, are a little different. They come out from a company called JoshProd. That's the name of the publisher. Incidentally, the guy who runs it, his name is not Josh. I've talked to him quite a bit. Now, he has told me the story about how a lot of these games got ported one way or another. He is unique, and his team is unique, because rather than make their own independent game that they bring over, this dude's going around and buying up or licensing other games that had no intention of ever being on the Dreamcast and usually were on other platforms years earlier, and decides, you know what, fuck it, let's bring that game over to the Dreamcast. A few such examples I've done videos on. Breakers, which was a fighting game originally for the Neo Geo CD and AES, brought that over. I did a video on Flashback, which actually, if you saw that video, this game was in that video very briefly and acknowledged very briefly. That was a game from the early 90s that they bought, and then they actually got the development team together and ported over. And then there was also 4x4 Jam, which was originally a PSP game, and they ported that over. So in this case, you have a very similar story to what happened with Breakers. This is a game called Ganryu. Now, Ganryu was originally made for the Neo Geo AES and Neo Geo MVS, the arcade version. Now, again, I talked to them about this, and when they told me, this is the situation here is that this is the MVS version of the game, and that they ported it through, permission of the original people who made the Dreamcast Neo Geo emulator, so they optimized it through that. They also went to, of course, the company that originally produced the game, which is a company called Visco. Again, they were the same people who owned Breakers, and what they decided to do is optimize it all together. They all worked together, and they ultimately got this release onto the Dreamcast, which is still amazing to me. Now, I've looked at gameplay online. This is not a fighting game. This is one of the few Neo Geo games that was not a fighting game, so I'm actually very excited about that, although I do still think that the Dreamcast needs more fighting games, and I think you found a way to do it. I remember posing the question in my Breakers video, is this ethical? Is this okay? Is this strange to basically, I don't know, in a sense, hijack the library of a different console for the purposes of the Dreamcast? Is it okay as, to emulate it instead of straight ports? Because the thing is, you're never going to get straight, direct, original ports. They're not going to go into the source code and bring this game out that way. They're going to do it through emulation. Is that okay? And the majority of you, at least in that poll, all said yes, that's fine, as long as they're optimizing it, which is exactly what they're doing. And you have the consent of the company that made the game. This is not illegal done or anything like that. So it's hard to argue with that. So ultimately, you end up with Ganryu. As per usual, very high quality artwork. It's reversible artwork as well. There is a PAL version of this, but this is the Japanese/American, North American design, which has the Japanese end label on one side, the American end label on another. It defaults to a Japanese manual, or at least a Japanese design manual. I don't think this is actually in Japanese, but it's reversible if you can get it out of the case, which currently I am struggling to do, but oh, nope, there it goes. So there you have one side, and then you have the American one on the other side, and then inside it's just, it's full color. Well, some pages are color, some pages are black and white, but yeah, very, very cool. Oh, it is actually in Japanese, never mind. The Japanese side is actually in Japanese, kudos. In Japanese and English. And then you also have the nice disc art here, which is a legitimate CD-ROM, not a GD-ROM, a CD-ROM, but it is a nice press disc from a factory, and then cool custom artwork on the back there. That's very, very nice. So if I want to thank JoshProd for not only sending me this, they sent me 4x4 Jam. They also sent me Flashback back when I did that video, because I obviously got them all at the same time. And if you want to support them, their link is there's a link in the description to Play Asia and other places where you can buy it. I also mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. if you're in New York City, specifically Manhattan, there's a store called Video Games New York. They have exclusive rights to be selling this over the counter as just like a walk-in and brick and mortar store. If you want to buy it there, you can do that too, which is pretty cool. So I highly recommend checking it out and supporting these guys, because I like the idea that they're bringing a ton of variety. Not only are they bringing a variety of new games, I love the idea that they're like resurrecting all these like random games that they're finding and just bringing them to the Dreamcast. I just think that's really neat.
All right, let's check out some Ganryu. Now, as I mentioned before, this game does technically run off an emulator, and that's what you're seeing right here. That's what this load screen actually is. This is the emulator basically loading the MVS ROM, I guess. I mean, granted, it does additional optimization, but it is technically what is happening at this moment in time. And so because of that, I was a little cautious with this game, because you have to understand you are running it through an emulator, so you want to see how well. I mean, the Dreamcast wasn't meant to run that emulator, so how good of a job is it going to do? And I got to tell you, it ran a lot better than I was expecting, which I guess that makes sense. You have the author of the emulator getting the direct cooperation of the company that made the game, and they're going to work together to make it as good as it can be. So I'm pleasantly surprised by how smooth this game actually ran. And it looks great. It really looks great. It's VGA compatible, so it actually runs a lot better and looks a lot better than it would on original Neo Geo hardware. Let me rephrase. It looks better in the cleaner picture sense. I can't actually say because if it runs better, because I don't have a direct comparison to run, but it runs smoothly. That much I can say. And it's got this nice little tutorial at the beginning, which I was hesitant about keeping this footage in here, but then I thought, nah, it's kind of interesting just to see some of the different options, and see someone who's like competent at playing it play it. Granted, they just die right there, but that was kind of the point. But yeah, so now we go on to play it ourselves. Now here's the thing about this game. This game is really fun. I had a really good time playing this, but it is hard. Because this is an arcade port directly, this game, you have to remember, was designed to eat your quarters. That's how they got you to keep playing it, or how they got to make money off of you. I'm wondering if the home console port, the Neo Geo AES port, is easier. I legitimately don't know, but I do know this game was harder than expected, and that was even running it on easy mode. Now, I don't dispute for a second that I could make a lot more progress in it if I just kept practicing, but, time. But you will see me at least get to the end of this particular level. And this is seriously a lot of fun, guys. And if you've never tried this game, it is pretty cool. It's definitely I gotta practice until I get good type of game, but it is a lot of fun. And I just realized that I never ended up using that chain move they showed at the beginning. I really should have done that. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I kind of got confident in my hitting attacks for a while, and so I just kind of stuck with it. But yeah, it's whatever. Yeah, so not much else to say, I think. So I will tune in, or you tune in at the very end of the footage, and I'll catch up with you then. Well, there you go. Look at that. Look, I'm fighting a giant baby doll head thing. I don't know. It's kind of like nightmare fuel, but I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. Oh, no, I didn't win. Never mind. Sorry to disappoint, but let me put my name in here. So I want to thank you guys for watching this. I want to thank JoshProd for providing it. This game's a lot of fun. Check out the link in the description to pick it up. I'll see you all later.